Sally, yes, I'm still here. We just saw, of course, that official welcome here. Welcome of the Netherlands King and Queen, as well as the delegation that they come with. Yeah, we're expecting now, of course, that the official talks to be underway from 11 o'clock that will iron out some of the relations and ties that are to be built by both nations. But I want to bring back Professor Dirk Coetzee into the conversation, because we were still talking, and significantly, Professor, we're seeing the electricity minister walk alongside the Queen. That would give suggestion that energy is some of those discussions that are at the fore here. But I guess balancing it out is the big question. We understand a hydro energy plant will be built in the Northern Cape, with the majority of that being exported. But do we know exactly how then will South Africa be assisted in the energy crisis, or will that power itself, some of it, remain in South Africa to help with our own power woes?
Well, I think this will be part of the discussions now of exactly what will be the content of this relationship. I can't imagine that they will export everything just to other parts of the world, and that South Africa will not benefit from it, because we've just heard the announcement by President Ramaphosa of how he wants to emphasize the role of hydrogen energy as part of the package of the energy in South Africa. So I've heard from others, the Finnish, for example, they've established or is busy establishing hydrogen facilities also on the coast. So that is going to escalate, and I think this will be one example. I hope it will be seen as a catalyst for other countries also, in order to become involved in this, because this is possibly the best type of energy available. It can be stored, it doesn't depend on batteries, it can be transported over distances, it doesn't need to have power lines or transmission lines for that. So it is actually the ideal form of energy. And I think if this is established, it will serve as an example for South African, the South African private sector also, because that technology does exist in South Africa, of how to develop and take it further.
And as we see a lot of these states come in, we saw Finland, Denmark, some of the other states that we're seeing coming in this year alone, is it all largely circulated around energy itself?
Not only, but it is a big factor, because we all know, load shedding is a fact of life for us. So this is one of the key issues. The government indicated, we all know the election is in the pipeline. It's going to become a very important focus area in the election. The government promised that there won't be load shedding by the time of the election, so a miracle must happen. In that sense, it has become possibly one of the main focus areas. Something which is as important is water. And what is significant about the Dutch presence here is that they are the leading experts in water management in the world. Remember, they have to build the dikes how many years ago, because they are below the surface of the sea. They are inundated with water. How to manage water away from them? We are in the opposite going in the opposite direction. But I can imagine there's going to be lots of talk also about how to manage water, and therefore because it is linked to the electricity situation.
And then just lastly, Professor, we understand it's official talks that will happen now, with that feedback coming in at 12:30. Just engaging in the feedback, what would you like to hear at 12:30 when the heads of states come back?
Well, it's going to be very short, this discussion, so they will have to focus on a few areas. A lot of preparation has been done already before this visit, so I think there's a lot of matters that is more or less ready to be concluded. It doesn't have to be discussed right from the start. I think what we've just talked about, electricity and technology transfers, the just transition, I think is going to be, again, an important matter. There will be a statement on the situation in Gaza and the Ukraine. I'm almost sure about that. And then a recommitment of the two states, the two countries, the Netherlands and South Africa, in terms of developing more relations. That's traditional. That happens always with state visits if they are not problematic. So I think these are what we can expect now. But this is sort of the tip of the iceberg. What will happen further down the line is really the test of what we've talked about also today, is the ideal. The implementation of it, the reaching of agreements, That's the real test of what is going to happen. But it sets the scene for those type of things.
All right. Thank you very much, Professor Dirkens. Yeah, a brilliant political mind, just mapping out what we can expect here today, of course, as the Netherlands King and Queen visit, and an official state visit, President Cyril Ramaphosa alongside his delegations. It's those official conversations that are to take place now, Sally, and 12:30, we're expecting then the official feedback from this particular state visit. But earlier on in the year, you remember, just around June, there was also a working visit from the Prime Minister, Mark Rutte, from Netherlands, flanked by the Prime Minister of Denmark. A lot of state visits that South Africa is seeing, particularly this year. We heard earlier on the professor count about 6 of those official state visits, suggesting that South Africa is no longer going cap in hand to these various countries, but instead is now part of the table and having those conversations that are currently happening at the seat of power as we speak here at the Union Buildings.